Jesus.
Check this out.
This book is the Holy Bible, so the depiction of Christ should be in the Bible. And if it's about the book, it's about Christ, right? You agree?
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The revealing.
This is Revelation chapter 1, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
Uh-huh.
Verse 10. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day.
John was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, which is Saturday, not Sunday.
And heard behind me a great voice,
Uh-huh.
as of a trumpet,
As a trumpet, so John heard a great voice behind him. It sounded so loud, it sounded like a trumpet.
saying, I am Alpha and Omega,
Christ.
the first and the last.
Uh-huh.
And what thou seest,
Uh-huh.
write it in a book.
So you heard that voice told him, what you about to see, I need you to write it in the book. Go ahead.
In verse 13.
Uh-huh.
And in the midst of the seven
So in
candlesticks,
the midst of the seven candlesticks, we didn't have lights on back then, so the seven candlesticks was burning. So it means it was nighttime.
one like the Son of Man,
Uh-huh.
clothed with a garment down to the foot,
So Christ had a long garment down to his feet.
and a girt about the paps,
He had a golden,
with a golden girdle.
he had a golden belt around his midsection.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Like what?
Like wool.
Like what?
Like wool.
Sister, what nation of people on the face of the earth has woolly textured hair? This guy has woolly textured hair? He has dog stringy hair. It's like one.
As white as snow. And his eyes was a flame of fire.
That's two and three stripes. One, he don't have, his hair is not white, and his eyes is blue. Read it again.
His head and his hairs were white like wool,
Uh-huh.
as white as snow.
Uh-huh.
And his eyes was a flame of fire.
Christ prophesied in Genesis 49th chapter, Christ will drink wine. That's why his eye was a flame of fire. Go ahead.
And his feet like unto fine
His
brass.
feet were like a defined bread. What color is bread, sister? That's correct. That's
As
correct.
if they burned in the
Now
furnace.
you take that brass, you used to burn it. What color? Now this is John looking down, like you take your shoes and your socks off. This is John looking down at Christ's feet. Now you take that brass and you used to burn it in a furnace. What color, what texture would it come out? What color?
After it's burned,
You used to burn rice.
what color it's gonna get? No, say you get white rice and you burn it. What color it's gonna get? That's right. That's right.
So this is more of a depiction. We're not saying this is Christ. We're just saying according to the Bible, according to the Holy Scriptures, it's more of a depiction of Christ.
At the same time, might come good time. He always say that.
That's correct. That's right.
That's
I
right.
got it too all the time.
Now, oh, if
I
he,
got you.
well, hold
I
on.
got you now.
But no, all right. Now, if he's black, shouldn't his people be black?
So who is this people? Who are those people? Because they got people that saying they are Jews in Jerusalem right now. They don't look like his depiction right here. You ever thought about that? Huh? That never crossed your mind?
No, not really. No, I never thought about it that far.
Give me Revelation chapter 2, verse 9.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty,
Talking about these, the real Jews. Go ahead.
but thou art rich.
The rich, go ahead.
And I know the blasphemy
Blasphemy simply means lies, sister.
of them which say they are Jews
People that's over there in the land of Jerusalem right now, they say they're Jews.
and are not.
They what?
They are not,
They are not.
but are the synagogue of Satan.
That's who they are. We're the biblical Jews. We're the biblical Israelites, according to the scriptures. We can prove that. Because according to the scriptures, it was prophesied the real Israelites were going to slavery on slave ships. Them people have it. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently
To listen.
unto the voice of the Lord thy God, unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments,
Tell his commandments.
all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So if the biblical Israelites would obey and listen to the Most High God law, he'd have set us above all nations upon earth. But the flip side, because obviously the real Jews is in mourning. We're the bottom of society right now. Verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken
If we don't listen,
unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all of these curses,
all these what?
all of these curses
All these curses.
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
It only seem like we're cursed people. We're gonna go straight to it. Give me verse 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay, 1 second, sister.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Now, the word Egypt he's saying here that means slavery and bondage. You gonna prove that according to the scripture.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 2.
Bring it out.
I am the Lord thy God,
Uh-huh.
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Go ahead, now go back to 68. 1 second, sister.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
To slavery.
with ships,
Again with ships.
by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt-
Same way he's saying it, same way it's gonna happen.
Thou shalt see it no more
We ain't
again.
never seen our homeland again.
And there
Once you got off those ships,
ye shall be sold.
You be what?
Ye shall be
You be
sold.
what?
Ye shall be
Go
sold
ahead.
unto your enemy.
go to your buddies,
Unto your enemy.
go to your friends.
Unto your enemy.
Uh-huh.
For bondmen
Uh-huh.
and bondwomen. And no man should buy you.
What nation of people that happened to, sister? It didn't happen to those people that's in our land right now. It happened to us. We the biblical Israelites.
That's right.
We the greatest people that ever walked the face of the earth. It's
That's
us.
right.
We're above everybody else. Understand that. Got any more questions?
Oh, let me give you this.